30s, we have to have some advice to give. Let's get into all the juicy and dirty gossip. And the rest, well, we'll just figure it out along the way.
Hi guys, and welcome back to another episode of Structured Chaos. I'm Kyra, and today we're getting into all of the thoughts that I have been carrying around all week. Welcome back. I hope that everyone had a great weekend and that you were able to relax a little, maybe binge some shows, eat some good food, and just, all of the things that we look forward to over the weekends. I didn't really have like a crazy week of any type. It was, seemingly regular. I am still like figuring out how to style my hair, but I am just like absolutely loving it. I like sometimes can't even believe that like this is my head of hair. Like it just like, oh, it looks so good. And I'm like so obsessed. So I'm like a curly hair girl and I love it. As I mentioned last week, the NBA playoffs started. So first games were on Saturday. Lakers won against the Rockets. So that was really good. We need this next win under our belt to get the spirits high, because as a reminder, we are still out Luka and Austin. But they did great. They looked good. I mean, granted, the Rockets didn't have KD playing, which, could potentially pose a deeper threat. But we are, not that I'm like waiting for people's downfall of like not being healthy, but like if he just wanted to like prolong getting healthy, then like I wouldn't hate it. Maybe it's like game 6 or something, But the games yesterday on Sunday, they were a bit lackluster. Nothing really like that exciting. I mean, obviously like game ones are just, it's fair game for anyone. So they really get interesting around like game 3, game 4, pending, what everyone's record is. Staying in line with sports. I mean, Amanda and West were spotted out at the Yankees game this Friday. And like, it's just so weird because like she's been married to Kyle. They've been together for 10 years. And like, I feel like they never did anything. Like they weren't really like ever really photographed, or her biggest thing was that she just wanted to be at home. And it's like, now that you're in this scandalous relationship, now all of a sudden you want to be the girl about town and you want to just like never stay in and always be seen. Like the fucking balls on these two people. Like you did your best friend so dirty and you are literally showing zero remorse. But not only that, I feel like you're also just like throwing it in everyone's face. And Sierra did do an interview with Glamour magazine, and that came out, and the interview had happened, after this whole scandal broke. And, she really had a lot of very powerful things to say. So I am very much looking forward to the reunion. I mean, not to say that she's in a great place, because obviously I'm sure she is going through it, but I think obviously she knows everyone is rooting for her versus them, and how like crazy wrong it was. So I am looking forward to the reunion, but it does seem like she is in as good of a space as she can be in. And the one thing that she did say was like, they better get married, because if they don't, then like, what was this for? Which, I think we're all in agreement on that too. Like, you're blowing up your world for a man that you're not even gonna marry. Like, couldn't be me, girly. Could not be me. And then the other drama that was like taking over the internet this week was between Alex Cooper, the host of Call Her Daddy, and she owns the Unwell Network, and Alex Earl, who, if you guys don't know, is like a very popular influencer and also had a podcast under Alex Cooper's brand. So first and foremost, I don't really care for either of these two people. Let's just get that out there. I think I'm a little too young, or Alex Earl's a little too young for me to have like gotten on the wave because she grew to fame when she was in college. I think just like literally probably 3 years ago. And I mean, she's beautiful, but I don't like keep up on her or anything. She's not like someone who I'm that really interested in. And for Alex Cooper, I'm not trying to be here bashing a podcast, but I just like I've never really liked her. I don't think that she's a good podcast host at all. I think she gets incredible guests and opportunities. And I feel like she is just like not a good interviewer at all. And so basically, what happened between the two of them is Alex Cooper. I don't know if I said this already, Call Her Daddy podcast. She put out this way too long of a video if you want my opinion, just kind of like dogging Alex Earl, but like not saying anything, but then like saying something, and it all stemmed from Alex Earl liking posts about people saying that Alex Cooper's a mean girl. And so then it unraveled, and Alex Earl just posted a video saying like that made her day, that Alex Cooper had made the video and that she was going to have her response too. And so then Brianna Chicken Fry got involved, who's another podcaster. You may know her. She works for Barstool, and her and Dave Portnoy, had their podcast. And so then Alex Cooper thought she was like doing something because Brianna and Alex Earl are, I guess, like really good friends. And so she was sticking up for Alex Earl. And then Alex Cooper was like, oh yeah, like let me prove that I'm not the mean girl by like releasing messages like between the two of us. So she released like these messages between Brianna and herself where they were friendly messages, and basically stating that neither have met one another in person but have heard nice things. And Brianna was like, okay, cool, like yeah, I did think that, and then I like learned who you really were and started hearing everyone's feedback on you, and so my opinion has changed. And it is just like really funny because they both have money. Okay. Well, actually, all three people in this situation have enough money. So it's like the way I could never be worried about someone else. Like, you want to like a post calling me a mean girl? Go for it. Go for it all day long. One, I mean, I do think that Alex Cooper is a mean girl. That's like for sure what she gives off. But like, if you don't play into it, or if you don't like acknowledge what someone's saying, like, and making it a bigger deal, then like it'll just go away. Like, hello, like you're in media, don't you know that? And I just like all of them, like I just the pettiness, I guess, like I don't know. And Alex Cooper is a little like she's older. You have everything that you could want in life, I mean, I think, but you're still choosing to like be part of this like petty drama. I mean, I don't know, I just like couldn't do it, and like it's just not a good look. It's stupid. It's honestly stupid. And then it was Coachella weekend too. And obviously I had talked about Justin Bieber's performance last week, but then this week, Billie Eilish was brought up on stage. So Hailey Bieber, like, encouraged her to kind of pushed her to go on stage. And I didn't know this about Billie Eilish, but she's like a huge Justin Bieber fan. And it just goes to show you that regardless of your level of fame, at one point in time, you were just a regular person who had, their little crushes and looking up to celebrities or different artists. And I mean, it was like one of those moments where you're just like, we're all the same, and so it was really, really nice to see just like how taken aback she was, and just like grateful that she got to fulfill her little Billie Eilish dream and have Justin Bieber singing to her. So that was a really cool thing. And then Sabrina Carpenter brought Madonna on stage, so that was cool. Other than that, I didn't really see anything kind of like worth talking about, other than people just going over the crazy pricing of everything. And I guess weekend two, people were selling tickets at an even higher resale rate. So like again, I'm choosing to go on a vacation, but I love it for all the Coachella girlies and boys. Go off with your bad selves. Better you than me. Oh my gosh. And I wanted to talk about this last week and I totally forgot to bring it up. The just very big difference between men and women and how we, one, how we operate through life, but two, like how we even like pack for a vacation. And I also know that that's not just like a boy and girl thing. Like, some people just are not great at packing and some people are. My friend and I could not be more different when it comes to packing for a vacation. And if there's one thing that I hope everyone knows about me, I love to get dressed. I love to put an outfit together. I love to put other people's outfits together. And so my friend was going to a wedding and we had multiple conversations about outfit options, and it was a destination wedding. And so the day before they were leaving, they had sent me all of their options, and I sat there flabbergasted, and I was just like, you can't wear any of those. Like, you're gonna overheat in all of them. And no, these are too dressy. You're going to a destination wedding, totally different vibe. And also none of these are examples of what we talked about or what you ordered. So how'd we get to these options? So naturally it just gave me instant anxiety, because if there's one thing I am really grounded in, it's getting an outfit and a look together, especially vacation wear. I love to make a thing on Canva of all of my outfits that I'm gonna wear. And so it is just so funny how people operate, because then they get to the airport the next morning and then they're talking to me and he's just like, I don't even know what I packed. I just threw things in a bag. And it's just like my heart started racing. I couldn't catch my breath. The way we would just not be the same. And it is funny because when we met, I had asked is there something about me? What's something that you think about me that I haven't shown you yet? And he was like, I think that you're an itinerary person on trips, which is funny because I can be both. I am very good at going with the flow as long as I'm aware of certain things. So I'm not a person that's at 6 a.m. this is what we have to do. And then at 9 and whatever the case may be, I am not that person at all. I want to know where the good restaurants are. I want to know where, the good excursions are. What hotels are we staying? What hotel are we staying at? But other than that, I'm good. We could do whatever we want at whatever time. But the only thing I will make an itinerary about is my outfits for a trip. I love putting looks together. And so I was just like, oh my God, you just threw things in a bag. You threw things in a bag. You threw things in a bag. I'm one of those girlies that's prepared for 3 outfit changes a day. And most of the time, I find myself in at least 2 of the outfits. So, and then I'm just again, worried about the weather and what they pack. Cause I'm you're literally going to die of heat exhaustion. And it all ended up working out. And the original vision that I had from the beginning is what he wore to the wedding. So that worked out well. But I just couldn't help but laugh thinking about the very, very vast difference between men and women. So I just wanted to bring that up because I wanted to talk about it last week. Today, I kind of just wanted to talk about life a little bit. I ended my week and I really was filled with so much gratitude, and I was trying to figure out why. I mean, like I said in the beginning of the episode, nothing, I kind of just had a very regular week, but I couldn't help but just feel so grateful inside, which is a really good thing. But then of course, I'm someone who likes to sit in my thoughts and really digest everything and break it apart. And so I really was like trying to figure out like why I felt so grateful. And I think it was because I just like had so many real conversations. And that's not to say that I don't always, I'm not typically having that, because I am. But this week's lineup of conversations like just kind of felt a little different. And it wasn't like one specific thing. It was a lot of things. It was conversations about politics. It was conversations about family. It was conversations about relationships. It was conversations about life changes, career changes. It just like when these weeks happen or moments happen where I really sit down and reflect, it just helps me realize like I have a direct line to people's lives and how people choose to live them. And I get to learn about all of these things. And I get these opportunities to have insight on a lot of different things. And so I think that it just is really, really helpful I honestly truly believe that that's why I feel like I'm like not an overwhelmed person, because I just hear so many things and it makes me like keenly aware that none of us have it figured out, that all of us are going through something always. So like, let's just be a little easier on ourselves, And I feel like because of the relationships that I'm able to create with people, it's not as if like I am just observing from the outside. It's like I am getting real information into their inner thoughts. And it's just for myself. And I don't know if this is how most people are, if they're in situations like this, but for me, it is just like something that I truly treasure. It's something that I do not take for granted. It's something that I am so honored to create a space where people feel like they can just open up to me about everything. And it just makes me feel super lucky. And again, like no one has it figured out, from the person who is, a CEO of a top company to the person who is, fresh 21 and lives in a different state. It's like I get to see people at every single type of stage of life, and we're all in the same boat. Our problems might be different, but we've all got the same stuff going on, you know? And it's like either you're trying to figure something out, you feel like something is missing, you're trading one set of problems for another. And I think that hearing from so many people, like again, like it just like makes me not be hard on myself. um I think that oftentimes we can get lost in our thoughts and think, well, if I just had this, things would be better. Or if this could happen, then like all of my problems would go away. And I'm here to tell you, they won't. Unfortunately, problems are going to come no matter what you have, no matter what you don't have. And I think that it just helps ground me to really appreciate the things that bring me joy and rest assured and not go crazy chasing the things that I want, because hard is in all of us, we all have it. And I think, there's something powerful in realizing like it's not just like a you thing. I think that when you do hear that other people around you are going through similar things, it helps you feel like you're not alone, even if they're, at different stages, different levels, different types of hard. Just realizing that we're all struggling in whatever which way, I think it it just is helpful to always have a more positive outlook and not feel like you are the only one suffering. And um yeah, like I feel like people's stories honestly like don't overwhelm me in a negative way. I feel like I guess I am really lucky that because I hear so many things, I have so much advice to give when I'm hearing people's stories, because it's not probably the first time I've heard something like it. So I can give them context and say, well, this person that I know was also going through something similar, or like, oh my gosh, you'll never guess. Like, you're the second person to tell me this today, or something like that. And I think that when I'm talking to people and giving the advice, it makes them feel better and not feel so alone. And then vice versa, like I said, I feel better because I realize like I'm not alone by hearing all of these people's stories. And I think it just helps you realize like you're exactly where you're supposed to be. You can always change things tomorrow, in the next hour, whatever. And there's always going to be someone there who feels like they're going through something harder. And I think I just realized like this is just life. Like, this is just life. And I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be. And we are all works in progress. And just when you think life can be going easy, an unforeseen thing can happen and everything, changes. And I also, when I have new clients come and sit in my chair, it also makes me feel really, really good, because I just get really happy that I create a space in which people feel comfortable telling me things, because I had two new clients this week, and both of them really just opened up to me. And, we talked about a lot of great things that were both inspiring and like, problem solving. And one woman, she at the end of her appointment was like, can I just give you a hug? Like, thank you for hearing me and listening to me and really like encouraging me and making me feel different about something. And she was like, you made me feel beautiful, and I got to get everything off my chest. And I just was like so taken aback in the best way, because it's like, oh my gosh, like, in a world where we are all lost in screens, the fact that I can have this real human to human interaction and with a stranger and still make them feel like we have known each other forever and that I have created this safe space for them is just like a really, really fulfilling feeling. And I definitely do not take it for granted. And I do cherish that I have this ability. And I hope that for everyone, I can be a person that encourages them to just see whatever they're going through in a more optimistic way, or to, you know, to always just find the light in anything. And I hope that I come across as someone who's easy to talk to. I mean, I think I do, but it is always like nice to hear or be reminded of. And I love that I have created an environment around me that makes people feel like I am not judging them. I am not analyzing them. I am just creating a space for you to talk about whatever you want to talk about. Now, that being said, through all of that, I am analyzing overall as a whole how similar we all are, but I'm not analyzing in a judgmental way like what anyone is ever saying. It just makes me feel really good. And I would encourage anyone to, when you are feeling down and out, honestly, and like being hard on yourself, like really, really, really consider that, like, I promise you, we are all going through it, whether it's finances or health or uncertainty or relationships, I mean, you name it, you're not alone. I promise you, promise you, promise you. And I also thought about too, like sometimes when we make little things really big and then you hear someone else's story, you're like, oh, I guess like my problem isn't that big, because I heard a story where something might switch at their job and they might have to like move really far immediately and like with like essentially no notice. And like I couldn't imagine that, especially because like they're by themselves. So it's not like they're moving with someone. And like when you have this idea of what you want your life to look like and what your day to day is, and then all of a sudden you get one email that changes everything. And then you live in this like state of scared and this state of uncertainty. And, you know, it's hard when someone else has control over something that happens for your life in different areas of life, obviously. But I just thought like, okay, I guess it's like not the end of the world that I couldn't get my car washed this week. You know what I mean? Like I could be getting an email that says you got to leave San Diego right now and go work over here. And it's just like I know that I say the same things over and over again, but I just feel so grateful to be in the space that I'm in, because I do think that in a world where we're surrounded by the internet and people putting their best foot forward and faking it until they make it, and the illusion that life is easy or life is perfect or this person got lucky and became an instant success or got the promotion of their dream or whatever the case may be, the reality is that there's a lot of us that are going through something and thinking like, well, why can't I just have what they have? But that also goes to another story where we have to remind ourselves that a lot of the times people are faking it. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. I'm not saying that. But sometimes, people give off this illusion that life is great and they've got it all locked in. And not only do they have it locked in, but you should go to them for advice. Meanwhile, like they're super, super struggling. And so I do, have this like, yes, I want you to fake it till you make it. Yes, I want you to feel great about yourself. Yes, I want you to portray yourself exactly how you want to be received. But at the same time, I feel like you need to be authentic. And I think that that's a problem that we run into in today's society, is that people will sit behind a microphone and preach, 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 or whatever the case may be, or like not necessarily behind a microphone, but people will be in your face telling you one thing, and meanwhile like they can't apply that to their own life. And when I am in those situations, I often get reminded like, okay, you might not be where you want to be at, Kyra, but at least you're authentic. Like at least when everyone comes to you and asks you for these like advice, like you're not pretending you're some multimillionaire over here and can change their life in an instant, um so I think that sometimes too, like when I'm with people, it does kind of like boost my ego, I guess, where I'm like, oh, at least I got this about me, I got to see one of my clients that I haven't seen in a while. And she is a young girl. And it's so funny because when I met her for the first time, she had like just moved to California. And she's actually from Connecticut, where I grew up. Well, not like she grew up in a town nearby where I grew up. And so it was really great, for her to like feel like she could talk to someone, knew someone, when she was like really brand new to San Diego. And she had really long hair. And I remember I said to her, I said, oh, just wait. I said, give yourself a year here. You're going to want to cut it all off. And sure enough, it was like so sweet. She came in like grinning ear to ear, and she was like, I'm here to cut it all off. And she was like, you said it to me, Kyra. She's like, you said give it a year and that I would want to cut it off. And here I am, a little over a year later, and I do want to cut it off. And I also remember telling her that I don't know why, but there is something magical about when you hit that year mark of living somewhere new, that it just starts to feel normal and a little less overwhelming and less foreign. And I don't know why. I mean, it's like I just can only go off of my actual experience, but there really is. It's like something just clicks on day 365 that you're just like, oh, this is my home now. Like, I feel more confident. Like, I love this place, and you don't feel like you're visiting. And so her and I had like a really good discussion about that. And I had said, like, how are you feeling about everything? And she was like, you were so right. She was like, I feel so much more at ease with everything. And I feel like this is my spot. And it just like felt really great to hear that she had a successful story. And like, again, that's not to say that this past year has been easy, because I have seen her and like she has had to deal with some things. And I think also, again, like that is growing pains, like you always have to go through like that bad roommate situation. And like everyone has one of those in life, and then you switch jobs and you find your new set of friends, and you start dating, and then you realize, I don't really want to date, and then you're like, well, maybe I'm ready to date again. And there's just this like dance that happens in that first year of immersing yourself in a new community. And so to see her on the other side of it and kind of experience the same things that I had gone through, it was just like really, really, really nice. And I was super excited for her. And to even just see the growth in confidence was really great. And then, at that same time, I'm hearing also in the same day, I'm also hearing, heavy family situation stories. And when I hear heavier stories from younger people, I always am, I mean, first, like I feel like apologetic, not apologetic. I feel for them, but to talk to someone who's younger about something really heavy and hear their perspective and their maturity on certain things is really inspiring. And I hope to be a voice for them and let them know, like everything's okay and family stuff is hard. And obviously there are levels to it. So yeah, it's just so great to be on such highs with people in their conversation, and then it can switch to immediate lows, and I don't mean that in a sense of like I didn't want to hear the story or didn't like the story or anything like that. But sometimes people, have to share heavy things. And again, I think it goes back to perspective, and it goes back to like, wow, like just when I thought things were really bad in my life, like listening to these stories, I'm realizing like I don't have much bad in my life at all. And I heard some pretty like heavy family stories this weekend, and it really makes me sad, but then it also makes me so grateful to know that I have like such strong women sitting in my chair hour after hour. And regardless of age, regardless of where they're at in life, like I really do feel like the people that sit in my chair, as heavy as their story may be, they always leave feeling better. And I think that, again, like that's all I want to give to someone and be able to do. And, you just can't help but be grateful in my profession, talking to so many people and realizing like we've all got our shit. and we all want the best of everything, but sometimes our cards just aren't dealt that way. And, you know, I get to celebrate every high and be part of every low. And I think that there are not many careers or situations where you do get to surround yourself with that day in and day out. And so I really, again, like, think that it is such a helpful tool for me to not overthink certain situations or get down and out about something, because I do get all of the time from people like, how are you always happy? Like, how are you like always in a good mood and smiling? And I mean, part of me is always just like, well, because what's the alternative? You know, it's not because life is just so swimmingly easy for me. It's just like, you can either allow yourself to feed into the sadness or pick yourself up and realize, like, all right, well, you know, it'll get figured out. Like, I can't let this keep me down, because then I'll be down forever, you know? Um, so I couldn't figure it out until I sat with it all, because I did have a very, very busy week. And, you know, hearing people's stories does take an emotional toll on you. And it does, like, I often find myself driving home in silence because I just like need to decompress. But I still just was filled with so much gratefulness, and I was just like, like, gosh, like, it was one of those like, thank you, life, thank you for reminding me and putting all of these people in my life to keep me trucking along and keep me inspired. And I just want to be able to share that with everyone. And I feel like I say the same thing over and over, but it is so true. Like, times are hard. Times are hard. So we have to figure out how to find joy in the most simple ways, whether it's going outside for a walk, whether it's listening to our favorite song over and over again, cooking a new dish, going out to dinner, getting dressed up, buying a new pair of shoes, or whatever the case may be. I think that we all just need to take a moment to appreciate what we have and to be thankful. And if you feel like you're down and out and you do have a person that makes you feel like you can talk about anything, then reach out, because you are not alone. And it's tough out here. It really, really is. So that is all I have for you guys today. Next week will be the monthly Bravo episode, which we have got lots to talk about, because we will be breaking down Beverly Hills. The reunion will have started, which looks great. Of course, this like summer house drama continues. And then I'll be in Dallas over the weekend, so we'll have lots to catch up on about that. Make sure that you're following me on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. All of the information can be found in the description below. Also, make sure to subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend, leave a review. I'm Kyra, and this is your reminder that having it mostly together still counts. See you next week. Bye.